TCK. Happy Thursday, friends, and welcome back to another installment of Kai Plays. We're continuing this week with a little bit more Final Fantasy IV, which I am currently getting initialized. But before that, I have an important item to cover. As of yesterday, we wrapped up our annual Chocomiss fundraiser for 2020, which we decided to extend out in light of the COVID-19 situation. Beginning today, we have our 2021 fundraiser to support RAIN. Now, as many of you are aware, April is Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and in honor of that, TCK takes a couple of token steps as well as honoring it in a more straightforward fashion. Now, we do replace the flower pot displays in all of our public FC areas with blue flowers. We have blue tulips for you this year. We'll have some screenshots uploaded in a future video. We also take the time to dye our banners from our traditional chocobo yellow to a teal color in support of the event. And this year, of course, we are supporting RAIN in their ongoing mission to prevent sexual assault and violence here in the United States and abroad. Now, we have available in the description below, as well as underneath the live stream, a link to our current Tiltify campaign. I'm in the middle of adding some bells and whistles to that. We are midweek when we rolled over into this event, but we do at least have the streaming schedule available, and you can go ahead and click that link if you are willing to donate a few dollars to support the cause. I don't have any more for you at the preamble here. It will be just a little bit of silence while I complete setup, and I appreciate your patience. There we are. Now it occurs to me what I had actually said was Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month, and I apologize for the misunderstanding there. Now, as you may recall, where we had left off last time, Tella, unfortunately, has passed away from use of the Meteor spell, failing to heed the party's warnings, and failing to finish off Golbez once and for all. We've learned that Golbez seeks the other 4 elemental crystals, somewhere called the Underworld, and that he seeks for some mysterious reason to access the moon. Now we have one more elemental archfiend that awaits us, and we have escaped from the Tower of Zot after the last elemental archfiend's attempt to bring it down upon our heads. Now with not many leads left to go on, I've decided to return us to Troya to check on our wayward party member, Edward. Now, off-screen there was a little bit of leveling that happened, but no plot has been advanced and no real exploration has been done. Well, it seems while Edward will not be able to continue journeying with us, he has gifted us with an augment for Bard's Song. And that would be a key item, and will allow somebody in the party to learn the ability to channel Edward's bardic music. Not sure yet what we'll do to make use of that, but I'm sure it will come in handy. It seems the wise women are of no practical use at the moment, other than to give us a tidbit of lore about how the 4 crystals were originally scattered to prevent some great calamity, and from some great power falling into the hands of anyone who gathered the 4. Well, since that has come to pass, we'll have to go ahead and do a little exploring here to figure out how we're going to access the underworld. Now, we've explored quite a few portions of the map at this point. We started in Barren, we found our way through Mist, we visited Damcian and the Oasis, we traveled east through the pass to Fabul, and we have stopped in a lot of the other island places in between, most of which contain shops or just a little bit of lore. Now, what we have, what we haven't explored in any great detail is the southwestern continent, upon which stands a mysterious tower. Let's go have a look at that. And we have some places that we can land here. Seems to be a cave, but to access the cave, it appears we're going to need something akin to the hovercraft. We have a mysterious building. Well, let's investigate. Eblin Castle. Couple of inner courtyards here. Fans of Final Fantasy VI will recognize this layout from another castle in a similarly sandy area. Ooh, treasure chests with holes in the floor. Whatever should we make of that? Coral Whisker. I wonder if that acts like Blaster and casts instant death. Let's have a look. Casts death. All right. Not but a few minutes into our adventure, and we've already acquired more treasure. Doesn't seem to want to interact with that vase. Ninja Sutra. Ninjas wield kamas, therefore it is a Kama Sutra. Don't at me. Whoops. A book of Elblanese Arcana, or so it appears. Very mysterious. Oh, what does this button do? It does nothing currently. Just a castle with a whole lot of treasure and no enemies in it. How mysterious. Emergency exit. Some high potion. There's a hole in the floor. Geronimo! Silver hourglass. Ooh, a cellar passage. Probably should have seen if anybody lived here before we started taking their stuff, but it does look very abandoned. An enemy ambush! Oh boy! We got ogres by the looks of them. Their punches hurt quite a bit. It's good to have Rosa back in the fray with her prey ability. Yikes. Things are a little bit on the beefy side by the looks of them. Prayer unanswered. We finally got through one of them. Man, that's quite a bit of HP. Now, we don't have any offensive magic to wield at this time, so it's really just a whole lot of healing and poking things. Now, regrettably, the bow that we had equipped Rosa with when she last left the party seems to have been lost with no hope of recovering it. Instead, she has come equipped with a bunch of standard healing equipment, possibly the very same equipment we had equipped to Tella. It may simply have just transferred to her. Now, Yang's ability to poison enemies with his claws is neat, but I have yet to see it be exceptionally useful. 12,000 experience points, that's quite a bit. Oh, she learned Berserk. Interesting. I believe we could do with a little bit more volume. One moment. Let's give this a try. Where were we? Ah, yes, the cellar passage. Let's make sure everybody's at full health before we proceed. If we had that much trouble with that enemy ambush, it stands to reason that if there are more enemies lurking about, they're not going to be pushovers. Oh, I see, the cellar passage takes us right back out of the castle. Fascinating. Alright, well, we tried the East Tower last time. Let's give the West Tower a try. Let's see now. No indication of any holes in the wall. Let's head up the stairs first. Got some treasure to the right. Ooh, something in this jar. Some Bacchus wine. What have we here? A secret passageway with 10,000 gil. Achievement unlocked. Fat purse. Some silencing arrows. I assume the fat purse is for 50,000 gil. Oh! Fascinating. Bunch of little hidden nooks in this place. What other things might we uncover? This is one of those times that reminds me, in the olden days, when I had much older technology, I would play around on an emulator called ZSNESW, and that had the option to turn off different layers. Ooh, Sleep Blade and an enemy ambush. Had the ability to turn off different layers during gameplay. This obviously was not intended for the original release of certain games. Yikes, that looked intense. Could have been worse, though. And it had the funny little side effect of being able to turn off something like the top layer of the map tiles that you were currently on. So you'd have passageways like this where you weren't supposed to be able to see how to get into new rooms, but by turning off things like the caps of wall segments, you could see the breaks in the tiles underneath, which would reveal hidden passageways. I'm not saying I tended to use that, I'm just saying that it was an interesting feature. Of course, that's just one of the many exploits with the emulators. Another one being save states and the tomfoolery you could get up to with those, as well as things like turbo keys. Now, this thing has quite a lot of health. He looks like he would. He's kind of golem-y. Still, tons of HP will only get you so far. Especially once Sid gets his mallet. We did it. What do we get for XP for that? About 6k. So less than we got in the tunnel, but nothing to turn our nose up at for sure. I believe that's it for the western tunnel. Now, we missed one treasure chest in the eastern tunnel, and I'm wondering if I simply needed to path around the hole to get to it. What I will do, though, is we'll save that until after, since we know that the end result of exploring that tunnel is going to be getting kicked back out to the map. So let us first explore what is in the central tower, or the keep, more likely. First floor. I like their rugs. It looks a little bit like the Oasis style from Final Fantasy XIV. Okay, we have a room here. I check for traps. Wait, this isn't my Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Okay, let's try the east room. There's a treasure chest with a high potion. Oh, that reminds me, we just acquired a silence blade. Or a sleep blade, rather. Attack 55. It's a reduction in the spirit stat for Cecil, which, as I recall, is a governing attribute for curative spells. It loses its holy affinity, and instead trades it out for the ability to inflict the sleep status, which is borderline useless. But it has 15 more attack, without compromising any of the strength stat. I think we'll give it a try, but first let's just make sure we can't equip it to anybody else that might get more use out of it. We could give it to Cain if we felt like giving him a sword instead of a spear, because reasons, I guess. But on that note, we could give him the flame sword, which I think probably would just be more useful if we were going to go that route. You know what? Let's try out the flame sword, just for fits and giggles. Watch us immediately encounter a flame ambush. Just a bunch of enemies that heal from fire damage. Just Kai luck. Let's see. No hidden switches. Okay. How about the west? Hidden switch. Hidden switch. Hidden switch. Hidden switch. As a friend of mine, Lady Merwith, would say, secrets. Okay. Oh, I see. There's stairs on either side of the map. Good job, Kai. Empty throne. Yeah, I guess it's an abandoned castle. Does that make me the king of the castle? Now I'm the king of the castle. What do we got? A unicorn horn. Never know when you might need some of that. And an alarm clock. Okay. Need that unicorn horn to grind up with some guam leaf to make a cure poison potion. Let's see. A gold needle. A cottage. It's a cottage in a box. And a maiden's kiss. Somehow makes even less sense than a cottage in a box. That appears to be it for secrets of the throne room. Got all the treasure on the second floor. All the treasure from the first floor, so it's time to get that missing treasure chest from the East Tower and peace on out of here. Eblin Castle, just full of treasures. I'm sure this can't possibly circle around to bite us in the butt, right? Okay, so we don't seem to be able to path there directly. But armed with our knowledge of leaving the boundaries of the map, a blood lance and an ambush. Now the blood weapons are fascinating. In earlier games, they have the ability to steal health when you attack with them against all but undead foes. So that could be really neat. Obviously, as a lance, we'll want to go ahead and give that to Cain. And with any luck, pretty soon we'll be able to put him in the front row where he'll be able to get the most out of it. No effect. Get told. I shouldn't get cocky until we've dealt with the Death Kitty here. This guy can 100 to 0 somebody, just because he feels like it. Okay, now we're fine. Probably. Nice. You got slapped. Thou knowest the rules. Talk shit, get hit. And this Medusa has tons of HP. I like the animation on the fire sword. It's kind of neat. Still less than 1,000 HP, but you know Kuraga now, so that's something. Does the status persist after battle? You have silence on you. Magic. Esuna. Cure everyone. Perfect. Let's get out of here. Oh, wait. The lance, obviously. Absorbs HP from the target. Interesting. Yeah, so the attack power seems to go way up, but it decreases his strength by 10, his speed by 10, his stamina by 10, his intellect by 10, and his spirit by 10. So that's kind of the price that you pay for an HP absorbing weapon. Now, I'm not entirely sure how the formula works for dealing damage. I can only assume that the loss in strength is offset by a gain of 30 in attack power. But let's find out. Let's have him change his auto battle strategy to attack. So I don't actually know if it's going to steal life on forms of damage from abilities such as jump. And then let's peace on out of here. With the current party composition, we can't really have Cain in the front row without putting somebody in the back row that doesn't really belong there, if you will. You know, Sid and Young won't be able to make the most of their abilities from there. You could put Cecil there and just have him hide behind his shield, but where he has the counter augment ability, it makes more sense to get the most oomph out of that. Not to mention the fact that Cain doesn't seem to suffer from much damage drop-off. from jump when he's in the back row. So we can still make use of that. All right, so we've explored this neat little castle here. What else do we have on this continent? Let's see, traveling by foot won't get us anywhere unless we can path through this mountain range, which I doubt. We sure can't. Doesn't appear that we can land anywhere in here. Let's see, is this pathable? Probably not. No. So whatever waits for us at that tower is not meant to be accessed yet. What else do we have? A big open area up here. But not a whole lot going on. So we don't seem to be able to do much here yet. However, perhaps if we explore what we're able to do with the hovercraft. It's been quite some time since we've actually accessed it. Wool. Back across the mountain path. And the hovercraft. Just waiting for us. As you'll recall with the hovercraft, it isn't able to traverse deep water, but it is able to traverse shallows, which are indicated by these little things here. Now, some of these things were visible on the southern continent, which makes me wonder, can we get the hovercraft out of this area just yet? Doesn't appear to be the case. It's all mountain range down here. All right. So the answer doesn't appear to be the hovercraft currently. Now, in Final Fantasy logic, that usually means we have another mode of transportation meant to come our way. In Final Fantasy III, that was in the form of the Lunar Whale, which is our upgraded airship, which had the ability to hop over short mountain ranges. It makes about as much sense as it sounds like. With that being said, there's only one man that we know of that has the expertise and wherewithal to do anything involving the airship, and that's my boy Sid. He's already in the party, and it's not as if we can simply stop and talk to him. So perhaps if we go someplace important to Sid, we can trigger an event with him. With that thought in mind, why don't we make our way towards Baron? We haven't actually seen what's become of the castle in quite some time. Now, the archfiend of water had taken the place of the king for quite a while. Oh, it's still as sad as ever. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be much up here for us. Hold on a moment. In bitter watches of the night, I sometimes hear a voice calling from the castle depths. It sounds just like His Majesty's. How interesting. What a fun little tidbit we could have missed had we not come back here. What other mysteries might await us? How much of this game did I play before I realized that you can move while the map is open? What a lost opportunity that is. At least now we know if we're moving when we're out of bounds. Well, let's see. Now, what could this be? His Majesty? Return to this place when we have visited the land where the Eidolons dwell. Then he too will be able to lend us his strength. And then he faded away. What a mysterious message. Also, what a mysterious thing to have buried underneath the locked East Tower. Well, I suppose now we know why the fiend that was posing as the king wouldn't allow us access to it. The land where the Eidolons dwell. Well, the only summoner we're aware of is Rydia. Rydia is from Mist, but Mist was burned to the ground. There's no quick way out of here, unfortunately. Ah, who are you? Well, there's one lead, potentially. I doubt there's much else waiting for us here, so why don't we go ahead and visit Sid's home. Oh dear. $4,500 damage. I think these things are a little outmoded at this point in the game. Hey, how much damage does Kane do from the back row? 2,100 with a critical. 44 XP. We're gonna be rolling in the levels while we're here. I actually think we should check if jump will lifesteal. That might be a useful investment of our time. Oh, now which one of these shanties does our boy Sid live in? Start checking ones without signs until we find it. Oh, that whole conversation loops. Let me out! Let me out! Okay. Nope, that's the Devil's Road. Sid's house. Well, we don't seem to have triggered anything by visiting his house. Principles of buoyancy. Ouch. Fights every monster in the land, recovers some of the crystals, can't handle a fireplace. Alright, well, trying to force an event with Sid to have him modify the airship hasn't worked out, so why don't we pursue our other lead, the land of the Eidolons, and visit Mist. The Eidolons we summoners call hail from Feymarch, the land that lies between. It is said to lie deep beneath the surface of the earth, though I cannot claim to know where. So it seems that Mist isn't the home of the Eidolons, it's just the home of the summoners. A whip that no one can equip. Fascinating. Dancing dagger. What other stuff can we buy here? A bard's tunic. Right. A funny thought has occurred to me, and that is that the Bard Song augment would be useful for somebody hanging out in the back row. And right now, the only person in the back row that doesn't have much to do is Kane. Which gets me thinking about Kane the Bard, which gets me thinking, I kind of want Liam O'Brien to serenade me with his voice. Oh dear. We seem to have missed some items when we were here last. A gold hairpin. Gold hairpin is a mage accessory that in many of the previous games had the wielder be immune to silence. Or in this case, halves lightning damage. Sometimes it did both. Let's do it. I don't see a downside. What else we got here? More treasures. A polymorph rod. And a ruby ring. We already have several ruby rings, but what is a polymorph rod? Something that Rosa can't equip. It was probably meant for your boy Tella, unfortunately. Or perhaps even one of the twins, Palom or Porum. Alas, they will not have a use for it at this time. I think that's about it for exploration of Mist. An Eidolon whose blade can cleave even solid steel is said to slumber beneath Barren Castle. And we know of only one Eidolon that fits that description. Could it be that the king has some connection to Odin? He certainly fits the mysterious old man archetype. Now let's see. Where, oh where, should we visit next? How about the southeast? Have Mount Ordeals. This is Mysidia. How about these little continents down here? Not continents, but islands. Doesn't seem to be much of note. There's an entire archipelago here along the eastern side of the map. So let's poke it with a stick and see what it has to show us. Of forest. Doesn't seem to contain anything. How about this little patch of forest? Nothing here either. Mysteriously, there is a cave here. The island appears to be too small for us to land upon. There's some shallow water, which connects the area. But without access to the hovercraft, we're at a bit of a loss where that's concerned. We've been to the town of Mithril, where the small folk live. There's an interesting little invisible wall here. The Mithril peaks lie far to the north. Could that be a clue? Far to the north, they say. It could simply refer to the mountains that just appear to the north of the town. My goodness, I suspect we're a little out-leveled for this area. The spirit of adventure lives on, so we shall see what else we can uncover. Bunch of spindly little beaches out here that we can visit. Not a whole lot going on those. This led through the waterfall cave, as I recall. My goodness, these goblins have no idea what they're in for. It appears the critical rate might be tied to the enemy's level and or defense relative to your offensive stats. We seem to be critting a lot more often against these. Ah, the underground falls, that's right. We can't seem to traverse down through here because the current is too strong. Well, let's come back to this. Ah, yes. side we have... Ah, yes, the bottom of the underground lake, of which we did not quite finish mapping. An easy solution. So these are the waterfall cave. This is the underground lake and the underground waterfall. In reverse order from how I tagged them just now. This is the path to Mist. I feel a bit like Gandalf. I have no memory of this place. We have a small island here we haven't explored. It appears to be a chocobo island. A white chocobo, a regular chocobo, another regular chocobo, another regular chocobo. No black chocobo. MP restored. So we've already visited Troya. This appears to be all mountains and nothing but. We have the Black Chocobo Forest here. And of course the Lodestone Cave. Whoops. I don't believe we've poked around the town of Troya, but I don't believe there's much here either. Although it might be worth seeing if we can pick up a bow for Rosa. I don't recall if Troya sells those. Sure doesn't. Okay. Ah, yes, the Black Chocobo Nursery. I recall now. Yes, I don't believe that Troya has the answer to the mystery that we are seeking to unravel. Friends, we will have a brief intermission. Something has come to my attention. It requires me to leave you for a short time. I will be back in just a few moments. My thanks for your patience, friends. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. We had been attempting to unravel the mystery of how to visit the underworld. There are very few places that we haven't revisited at this point. Let's make a brief stop into Mysidia. At the very least, we should be the ones to bring the sad news to the village elder. We've flown past it. And then there's one small town, the name of which I can't recall. We visited once before when we first received the airship. I don't know if you remember. There wasn't really a whole lot going on there. Just like there wasn't much going on in Mithril. Well, we haven't been back to visit yet, so after we visit the Elder, we should certainly do that. Oh, there's a door at the back of this chamber. Ah, yes. Oh, okay. A couple of twin cast augments. Twin cast requires 2 people, which would be why it was gifted to us as a pair. Worth noting for later. In the meantime, however, it's time we moved on. What strange music they have in Mysidia. Now that town that I'm struggling to remember the name of, I believe was down here. Yes, this one. This is about the only place we haven't visited at this point. Agart. A people of dwarven lineage. Right. Ah, they have a well of immeasurable depth. We can throw stuff in it. What should we throw in the well of immeasurable depth? A bomb core? That couldn't possibly cause any issues. Decisions. We could throw key items in there. We haven't uncovered a use for the magma stone yet. Oh dear! Have I accidentally ended the world? Ooh. Fool of a took. Oh no. Oh dear. Well, that can't be good. Oh my. Just back to pleasant music, like nothing just happened. Are the NPCs just gonna act like we didn't just blow a hole in the world? I guess they are. I guess we ought to go look at that hole, because that looks important. It's big enough to fly our ship into. Oh, now what's this? Oh, this sure looks underworldy. Rivers of magma. The red wings of Baron. We probably should not be flying between this battle. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you fly between people exchanging shots, Sid. Mayday! Mayday! Oh no, the Enterprise. It sure looks like we've come to a new world. Oh, the poor Enterprise. Ooh. We may be able to do a little bit of leveling off-screen in this area. Ah yes, we get to find out if Kane will absorb HP from his jump attack. Operating under the assumption here that there will be something left for him to hit when jump resolves, which is not a sure thing. Ouch! Stop hitting my white mage. That's rude, yo. Come on, Kane, do your thing. He sure does. He heals for approximately 10% of the damage dealt, and it works on jump. I don't really see a compelling reason not to have him continue to spam jump. Listen to this overworld music, though. Time to explore. The Dwarven Castle! With horns. Aha! Lally-ho! This is the castle of the dwarves. King Gyat rules our halls. Golbez is a dirty, vile human. But I do not think you are dirty, vile humans. That's kind of you. You'd best go and present yourselves to the king, alright? Hello. Luca. I lost my dolls. Have you seen them? I sure haven't. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Lally-ho. Lally-ho is the traditional dwarven greeting. Have you come to speak with the king? Apparently I have. Hey, buddy. Very important room, this. I'm afraid I cannot let you in. That's pretty reasonable, actually. Understandable. Have a nice day. Oh, so you did survive that crash. My pardons, Your Majesty, but might we ask your name? I am Gyat, King of the Dwarves and ruler of the underworld. And the dark crystals, Your Majesty, they are truly down here. So that is indeed the reason for your coming, but you do not seem to be friends of the others, leastwise not judging from their welcome. Must apologize, we came near to shooting you out of the sky ourselves. Are the crystals safe? Would that I could say yes, but 2 of the 4 have been captured. This castle's crystal, however, remains secure. Our tank battalion was able to repel the enemy forces. Airships, you call them. The surface world must be home to many wonders. Our tanks have long been unmatched on the battlefield, but even they are hard-pressed to defend against assaults from the air. I do not suppose you'd be willing to lend that airship of yours to our defense. Unfortunately, she was damaged when we were forced down. She'll need repairs before she'll be able to fly again. I'd be happy to provide you with any materials you might need. I should be able to patch her up and get the engines humming again, but she wasn't built to take the heat of all that magma. I'll need to fly her back up to the surface and see if I can't rig together some mithril plating. Let's get to work. Sid! No need for teary goodbyes, I'm only going to make a few upgrades. You kids just wait here, I'll be back before you even start to miss me. Sid has left the party. Big sad. Someone is eavesdropping. There's no one here but us. I felt a presence behind that wall. Open the door. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. The door's been barred shut. Yip-ho-ho! What are those? Dolls? Ah, yes. Anybody recognize this theme? I guess we found Luca's missing dolls, huh? The name of this theme is Dancing Doll Calcabrina. Lord Golbez will be pleased. Yip-ho-ho. I'm gonna leave Rosa in defense for the moment. Have her cure everybody. Oh yes, auto potions in effect, right. And counterattack. Hopefully we won't use up too many of those auto potion procs before we get to Golbez. Now, I won't pretend that I know how the mechanics of this fight work, but I suspect that all the dolls have some sort of a shared health pool. Oh, we have somebody who's confused. Lovely. It would have been too much to ask for him to actually attack the enemy, though. Aha! We managed to get them before they combined. I know Rose is going to miss out on some XP, and she arguably needs it more than anybody, but I really wanted to avoid getting into the combined fight with Calcabrina this time. Not least of which because that doll is possibly one of the creepiest things I've seen. So Golbez shows up, reveals his grand plan to gather the 8 crystals and travel to the moon for the source of ultimate power. Because this battle is scripted, Rosa rejoins the fray with a whopping 1 HP available to her. Let's cast Shell on Cecil before he's completely disabled. I don't think they're actually going to let us do that. They sure won't. So yeah, as I mentioned, Binding Cold is a creature that an ability he has access to in Dissidia, if you played those games. His line, Come Forth, Creature of Shadow, is another thing that they have a nod to. And his ability, Black Fang, is a specialty that he has access to as well. He can even cast a Meteor in his Dissidia appearance. So really, he's pretty kitted out. If you cast Meteor with him, he'll say, Time to part, followed by Farewell. Yes, so this was the dramatic reveal last time. Whopping 4,000 damage to Golbez and his creature via an Eidolon. And who should re-enter the fray but... we're going into this fight with Cecil having more HP than last time. But here's Rydia, looking quite a bit taller than the last time we saw her. We're going to cast Shell on the party. And then Rydia is actually going to open with, if I can find the item I'm looking for. We're going to cast Slow. Is Spider Silk the only thing that I have that does that? I think it is. Yeah. That's fine. We're going to cast Slow on Golbez to hopefully reduce the amount of damage that he can do before we get the party back up and running here. Cecil's going to cure himself. Let's see, Lazara, Cecil's actually resistant to that now. Beautiful, okay. So. We're going to want to go ahead and have Rydia defend for the moment. Just take a little bit less damage. Cecil should top everybody off. We're just going to focus on getting the party back in the running first. So, we want to... Oh, she doesn't have access to white magic. My goodness. Okay. Phoenix down on... Let's get Yang back in the running. Kira the whole party, which will now include Yang. Phoenix down on Rosa. And then white magic to... Oh, we have no MP now. I see how it's gonna be. Don't think we're gonna be able to heal Rosa in time. I have made an error. Yep. As I suspected. Okay, Phoenix down on Rosa. Kira on everybody. down on Kane. Eye Potion on Kane. Kira on everyone. Of course, he immediately takes Kane out. That's fine. So Cecil actually start by attacking for now. Yang will Phoenix down on Kane. We're gonna go whole hog here and just Kiraga the whole party, which hopefully let us switch right into offense. Cecil can attack, Yang can attack, Kane can jump. Rydia is unfortunately in the front row. Okay, let's cast Shell on the whole party again. We won't hit Kane with it, but Kane should be spending most of this fight off the field anyway. I don't dare cast any offensive magic with Rydia at the moment. Let's keep that MP up if we can. And at this point, I think we're through the hardest part of the whole fight, which is just the initial rezzing of the party. I think now we can basically just hammer away at our foe, and it's just a matter of tank and spank. Nobody's especially low on anything at the moment. That's fine. Oh, he's healing from Cecil's attacks. Okay, good to know. We can have Cecil just kind of play defense at the moment then. We can have him... Let's see, what can we have him do? I don't think there's actually anything that can be assumed. Sap cannot be removed with it, I don't think. Everybody's actually pretty okay for HP, so let's just have him defend for the moment. Probably could have removed his attack command, honestly. Left him with cover. Rosa, keep the MP up. I guess we're going to be relying pretty heavily on Yang and Kane for doing damage in this fight. Suppose we could guess at what his elemental alignment is, but that's not worth it. I wonder if we wait for him to use a spell, if we use the opposite spell, if that will do it. Let's give it a try. Let's have Cecil just kind of spam cures for the moment, since he can't do any damage. What spell has he been attacking with? Blizzard, I think? Whoops, I want you to do that. I want you to cure everybody. I'm gonna have you attack. We're chipping away at him. It's by no means elegant, but it will do. I just want to confirm that he's not going to cast anything other than more blizzards. No, he's casting fire. Okay. So let's peg him with a blizzard and see if he's currently weak to ice. Nope. Alrighty. So it's not ice. Is it... Is he weak to thunder? Quite often you can tell what they're aspected to by the spells that they're casting, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. He is currently weak to thunder. Oh, did we already whoop him? Okay. We have had our revenge. It was not as satisfactory to enact, dealing with his strange mechanics, but if he comes back later and the fight is anything like this one, we know what to deal with. Notice a costume change and a slight sprite change for Rydia. What could that entail, I wonder? We defeated him, they said. Rydia saved us. But what's happened to her? When we were attacked, Leviathan swallowed me and carried me to the land of the Eidolons. The land of the Eidolons? The Feymarch, the place they call home. I lived among them and befriended them. I can't use white magic anymore, but my summoning and black magic have grown stronger. Time flows differently in the Feymarch, though. So that's why you've grown so much? Kane's just like, that child? This is a surprise indeed. But why would you come save us? If it weren't for us, your mother... Don't say another word. The Queen of the Eidolons told me this. The wheels of a fate greater than us are all turning now. She told me we must stand against it, and we must stand together. Rydia has rejoined the party. It would not be accurate to say she was not eaten by Leviathan. It would be more accurate to say that her being eaten by Leviathan doesn't seem to have dampened her spirits any. I love that we don't bother to finish the job with Golbez. We just kind of go, yeah, he's dead. And he just sort of gets up after we leave, so we have to turn around and go, oh no, he stole the crystal that we didn't bother to do anything to safeguard. Forgive us, Golbez has escaped, and with the crystal. Yeah, whose fault was that? There was little any of us could have done to stop that, it seems, but now only one crystal remains. We must guard it with our lives. I refute that argument. Where's the final one hidden? In the sealed cave to the southwest. Golbez left in that direction, but have no fear, the entrance is warded and cannot be breached without the proper key. And so I have a favor to ask of you. Of course you do. It is our fault the crystal was taken. Well, that's the first true thing that's been said in the last 3 minutes. If there is anything we can do to be of aid, we will most certainly cooperate. Golbez makes for the sealed cave. This is the opportune moment for us to turn the tables. While he is chasing after the final crystal, you can enter the Tower of Babel and reclaim the other 7. The Tower of Babel? You would have us march into the enemy's own fortress? Yes, while our tanks create a diversion, the enemy's forces will be drawn out to fight. While they are occupied, you will have a chance to slip in and retrieve the crystals. Wait until Golbez returns, and that chance is lost. To risk nothing is to gain nothing indeed. In the basement of this castle is an entrance to a tunnel that will lead you near the tower. Obtain to draw attacks augment. Well, alright. I'm assuming that's basically provoke. Key items. Yeah, and imparts the draw attacks ability. That is not especially helpful. That's okay, though. Is there anything else in here to explore? Does not seem so. Oh yeah, these guys probably have new dialogue. The underworld is a lovely place to live once you grow accustomed. Alright, well. Are we allowed to explore the rest of the castle yet? We sure are. What else you guys got in this cool place? Weapons and armor. Dwarven crafts, direct from more... Oh, wrong game. What you got? A dwarven axe. My goodness. Changes Cecil's attack power from 40 to 82. Seems a tad excessive. Oh, a great bow, so we could give our white mage the ability to do some damage. Another flame sword, should we want it, and a flame lance. Blinding arrows may inflict the blind status. I do want that great bow. It's pretty inexpensive. What else you got? Flame shield, flame mail. Okay, yep. Sage's miter. Okay. Ooh, rune armlets. Yes, please. Oh, and I see Rydia has one. I like her new picture. It's cute. So we can get one for Young, and we can get one for Rosa. I don't know if Sid's not coming back, or if one of these people is going to be leaving us again in short order. You can only have 5 people. There's not more space on the party list. But we're going to roll those dice and buy 2 of those rune armlets. See anything else in here? East Tower, first floor. A dwarven axe. Perhaps we should have explored a bit before buying anything. We might just have some free rune armlets around here. This treasure is yours to use as you see fit. Cool. This might be the first time we've gone into a castle, well, pretty much since episode 1 in the Kingdom of Baron, that we've entered a castle and taken the loot with permission. What do we got here? Ether, always useful. Actually had to use our first ether in the last encounter. What's the point of hoarding items if you don't use them to get through tough battles, right? Are we supposed to take other stairs to access the treasure on the... Oh, no. No. There seems to be a passageway. There we go. Silver hourglass. Perfect. Ooh, a power armlet. See, I don't know if there's going to be any loot in the corner rooms. We can check. Top left, bottom right are all empty, and the top right is also empty, so that appears to be it. Let us change our equipment. Power armlet. Perhaps unsurprisingly, increases attack power by 5. It actually has more defense than the ruby ring, too, so let's gobble that right up. Whoops. Let's see, mithril gloves. I don't think Kane necessarily needs those right now. The ruby ring, that is. Rune armlet, and rune armlet. Perfect. Oh, Rydia is the person who uses the whip. Gotcha. I wonder if that does full damage from the back row. We should test it on some trash mobs. Oh, right, before I forget, we just got a bow to give to Rosa. to change Rosa's auto battle to attack from the back row. Rydia is currently set to attack as well, so we'll leave that there. We have a couple augments we could think about giving her, but I'm not sure how I want to tackle that just yet. I'm not ready to commit to it. So that being said, let's see what lies in wait in the West Tower. Nothing unusual to report. Good to know. West Tower, first floor. Fighting Golbez 2, take this treasure then, it may aid you in your battles. Lovely, don't mind if I do. High potion. Oh, dwarves and their hidden tunnels, man. An ether. And elixir. Might need those for the final boss, who knows. Oops. I'm gonna go this way, and then this way. Loop, swoop, pull. Right, got it. I do believe that's it for the Dwarven Castle. I don't know yet how I feel about the Dwarven Axe. I suppose we can give it a try. What other effects does it have? It reduces his speed, perhaps unsurprisingly, but also his intellect, his spirit, and his accuracy. And it looks like it hits like a truck, though, so why don't we give it a whirl? Presumably it will make his white magic less effective, but we have a white mage, so he doesn't really need to be a jack of all trades here in this case. Golbez has withdrawn his fleet. Are there a lot of evil folk on the surface? That's subjective. I see, so we're on the inner layer, the top level of the castle, so we have to go back through the tower to go back through the rest of the place to leave. I think the door's on the left in here. Yep, there it is. Should take us right through the inn. Oh yeah, there was a room in the back of the inn I wanted to explore. Where does that lead us to? The basement. What's in the basement? Oh, right, that's where we're supposed to be going. Right. But first, I see a room over here. Fat Chocobo, blasphemer. He is known here as the God's Bird. Petition to refer to Fat Chocobos as God's Birds. A great and noble servant of the heavens descends upon this dais when the proper offering is made. Yeah, so I don't know if we covered this earlier in the segments. I'm pretty sure we did in one of our streams. But Fat Chocobos in Final Fantasy 3 and 4, you summon them with Gisselgreens at those daises like that, and they have different functions. So in this game, they have the ability to let you watch cutscenes on playback and listen to the jukebox. In Final Fantasy 3, they functioned as your bank. Certain items actually didn't stack, and you had a limited amount of inventory space. So to counteract that, you actually needed to summon the Fat Chocobo to store some items that you weren't using. How did it function as a bank, you might ask? Simple, by swallowing the items that you wanted them to keep a hold of, and returning them to you when you needed them back. Try not to think about it too much. If there's anything else down here? Nope. Time to move on to the Tower of Babel. Perhaps. No, we have a winding path first. So we have a little bit of leveling to catch Rydia up with the rest of the party, but we also have some testing to do with the whip from the back row and the bow and the damage of the axe and so on. Rubicante, the archfiend of flame, awaits us in the Tower of Babel. Alrighty. This is quite the windy tunnel, said Kai, forgetting he had access to a map. What do we have here? Oh, the Waters of Life. Quick way to full heal for free? Yes, please. HP and MP restored. Well, we know where our fallback point is. Let's take a moment to save. Oh yes, with that being said, we can actually change our party composition a little bit. We want to do this, I believe. Yes, okay. That way we have our 3 frontline fighters in the front row where they belong, and our 2 casters in the back. So, Paladin, White Mage, Monk, Summoner, Dragoon. I think this is a pretty good party comp, to be honest. Alright. One last thing. Let's change Kain to regular attacks for a while. So his auto battle should make him a little bit less intermittently useful. Or rather, his usefulness a bit less intermittent. You know what I mean. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's try out this auto battle here. Kain off to a beautiful start. Wonderful. Whip does 400 damage from the back row and seems to have caused paralysis. 2,000 damage from the Dwarven Axe. My god. 300 damage from the bow. 1,300 damage from the monk. Okay, then. Kain's speed finally coming in handy here as he can put out some auto attacks. 1,100 damage. Okay. Yeah, so Kain with all of his speed, unfortunately, he would only get about 1 move to everybody else's 3 because jump takes so long to go off. But that was the only way we could guarantee him to do full damage from the back row, which is about the only place we had open for him. But that's okay, because now that he's in the front, he can take advantage of that speed with some beautiful auto attacks with his Blood Lance, siphoning off some HP as he goes. Plus, with our 2 casters able to do at least some okay amount of damage from the back row, we don't have to have anybody in permanent defense mode as we go through these battles. That should help speed things up a little bit, assuming Kain can hit the broadside of an iguana. My goodness with that axe. $3,000 XP per battle. That seems to be a pretty decent rate. And while Rosa and Rydia really, seriously cannot take a hit from any of these enemies, we have more or less an infinite supply of out-of-battle healing, so that is good. How much XP is Rydia short to catch up to the party? She's got 126k. Meanwhile, 231, 313, 141, 300. So, roughly 100k XP, more or less. Shouldn't be too much of an uphill battle. We'll be able to fulfill most of that just kind of filling in the map here as we go, and assessing our battle performance against these different enemies that are unique to the underworld. Goblins don't seem to pose any significant threats. These adamantoise-looking things have always been tanky, and it's kind of a staple. Yeah, honestly, the auto-attack damage seems to be able to deal with pretty much anything in the overworld. And with the MP we have access to... Ooh, a mithril hammer. I wonder if we're getting Sid back to give him that hammer. With the amount of healing that we have access to, nobody's in any particular danger. Out of curiosity, can anybody equip that hammer besides Sid? Let's see, I don't see it over here. Nope. Alright, well, if we're not getting him back, which I don't remember if we are or not, we will probably be selling that hammer. If you guys could hit somebody other than our casters for a minute, that would be great. Oh yes, I just remembered Cecil is currently equipped with Auto Potion. We're going to want to go ahead and take that off from him. A thought occurs to me. Well, we won't get into it just now, but we could have Cecil use the Draw Attacks augment along with his counter ability. It has potential for abuse, shall we say. Especially since he seems to be the tankiest member of the party pretty much throughout this entire game so far. The only person who's even approached his total HP is Young, and he's still short by a good 300. Wow, we are really lacking for accuracy for some reason. Whoops. Silly Kai, we want magic. Let's see. We've got quite a lot of underworld to explore down here. Now, I must confess, I'm not the internet meme kid, I like turtles guy, but I am rather fond of the adamantoises. They've had a kind of a staple run throughout most of the Final Fantasy franchise, and they're kind of an unsung hero of random enemy encounters. Except perhaps in Final Fantasy 15. So some minor spoilers here if you haven't experienced that game, or if you have and you haven't gone for the 100% on it. There is an optional super boss. There's actually several of them, and one of them is actually an adamantoise. Probably the scariest appearance of an adamantoise in the franchise thus far. There's a mountain range, a rather conspicuous large mountain range that, once certain conditions towards the end of the game are fulfilled, turns out to actually be the shell of a giant adamantoise. It just gets up and becomes your problem, shall we say. Ooh, this one's a little bit larger looking. I would like to see some of Rydia's new abilities. If this thing doesn't die in a couple of decent hits, we may actually test them out. Let's do Yang attack, Cecil attack, Kane attack, Rosa pray. And if it doesn't die from this volley of attacks, it does, okay. We haven't really used the summons at all, which seems a shame. Oh, we just got... Oh, you finally learned Raise. Beautiful. Okay. We just got something for a shield. What was that? Oh, appears to have been a Mithril shield. Cool. That is worse than the Flame Shield, so we'll actually leave Kane equipped with that for the moment. Kane might have more use for the niche ice resistance with his half of Cecil's HP. Cecil probably doesn't quite need it as badly. Ah, the assault on the Tower of Babel begins. Let us... cure everybody real quick. Just in case we're walking into a point of no return, we'll do a quick save. We have a whole section of map over here I would like to get to, however. And we do honestly need the experience points. We'll kind of track our way back around. Whoops, you have auto battle enabled. I wanted to disable that for the next encounter. But yeah, there's a lot of recurring enemies in the Final Fantasy franchise, and I don't just mean recurring bosses. That's also cool, but it's also sort of a given. But there's some trash enemies that are recurring throughout the franchise that just give it this extra bit of flavor. Let's try out some Shiva. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's got a very slow cast time. Summons are another one of those things that are in every single game. That you sort of... Here we go. Oh, very cool. Oh, wow. All right. 30 MP, she just wipes the screen. Good to know. Anyways, as I had been saying, summons are one of those things that appear in every game, and it becomes something of a game with the recurring themes to figure out where they're going to show up and what presents they're going to have. So in one of the games in particular, the summons as we know them... Let's try another summon real quick. Let's try Titan, Earth Elemental. Yeah, in one of the games, specifically Final Fantasy XII, there's a different set of summons. They're the Evilisian summons, you know, Belias the Gigas, Mateus, etc. But instead, the summons that we're familiar with... Oh no, this looks cool. Sweet. Oh, nice. Yeah, the summons that we're familiar with instead take the appearance of airships. The Ifrit, for example, is a dreadnought, I'm pretty sure. No, the Leviathan's a dreadnought, Ifrit might be a cruiser. Doesn't matter. Anyway. So it's always kind of interesting to see where that nostalgia kick is going to come in, as we see those recurring themes. For example, there's a Cid in pretty much every single game. Biggs and Wedge are recurring characters since, I want to say, Final Fantasy II. They're also in other Square Enix games, including Chrono Trigger. Oops. To summon... You know, I doubt Ifrit's gonna do a whole lot of damage because they're fire-aspected enemies, but I kind of want to see what he looks like anyway. Ifrit possibly has some of the most dramatic changes between appearances. Sometimes he's more feral, sometimes he's more of a djinn. Looks like he's kind of a hybrid in this one. That's cool. 2,000 10,000 damage. Alrighty. When we poisoned him just to add insult to injury. Yeah, the most stark difference I can think of in two of the most popular and well-known Final Fantasy installments has got to be the difference between Final Fantasy VII's Ifrit and Final Fantasy X's Ifrit. In Final Fantasy VII, he's just kind of like a dude with different colored skin, with horns and such. But in 10, he's much more feral. Let's have Rosa pray here. Let's have Cecil kind of top everybody off. We've been kind of derping around here, so people are starting to take some damage. We should focus up for a sec. Anyway, in Final Fantasy X, he's much more feral. He seems like his skin looks more like fur. He's got tufts of it coming off from him and these really long horns. So I feel like his alterations in appearance are perhaps the most dramatic. Ramuh, for his part, is pretty much always a roby dude with a huge beard. The amount of beard tends to vary by appearance, but not significantly. Shiva is pretty much always Shiva. Let's cure up a little bit here. Me, personally, one of my favorite elements in the franchise is the lightning element. Oh, we can't actually explore over there. Silly Kai. But yes, one of my favorite elements is the lightning element, so I'm always very keen on you know, the thunder spells and whatever the different summons are going to be. So Ramuh is probably the oldest in the franchise. He's been supplanted a couple of times by Ixion and by Quetzalcoatl in Final Fantasy VIII, who also had a cameo in Final Fantasy XIV. Just always fun to see their different appearances. This is where we exited from, right? Yeah, okay. Oh yeah. Free HP and MP. How could I forget? This presents a wonderful opportunity to try out our other summons, because we have a full heal right here. So let's give that a whirl, shall we? Auto battle is off. Beautiful. Rydia. Let's see some Chocobo. I want to see some Chocobo. Oh, it's single target. Huh. That's okay then. Aw, yeah. 400 damage. Well, you tried, buddy. You tried. Alright, so we've seen Ifrit, and Shiva, and Titan, and Chocobo. So let's do Ramuh, and then Dragon. I'm pretty sure Dragon is just going to be the attack that we had seen in the fight with Golbez, but nevertheless, we'll give it a try. Oh no, we've been back attacked! And we're still in auto battle. Whoops. Stone Gaze, okay. Well, to heck with it. Might not get a chance to do it, but we'll give it a try. Okay. Next time for sure. Ooh, a stone blade. Starting to catch up with those levels a little bit. What is a stone blade, one must ask? may inflict the stone status. I might have guessed. Actually does the most damage of anything we have with the exception of the Dwarven Axe. So if we absolutely need Cecil to have a little bit more speed and a little bit more White Mage potency, we can swap him over to the Stone Blade, but honestly with a designated healer, I don't see that being much of an issue.